Douglas, Chapter 15. I now come to the time in my life when I finally escaped from slavery. It would give me much pleasure to reveal all the facts connected with my escape, but that could create great difficulties for others. Instead, I will state only those facts for which I alone am responsible and can be made to suffer. In the early part of 1838, I became quite restless. I could see no reason why I should pour the rewards of my toil into Hugh Old's purse at the end of every week. Whenever I brought Hugh Old my weekly wages, he would count the money, then look me in the face with a robber-like fierceness and ask, "Is this all?" He was satisfied with nothing less than every cent. However, when I made $6, he sometimes gave me 6 cents to encourage me and, I believe, ease his conscience. To me, his giving me any part of my wages showed that he knew I was entitled to all of them. My discontent grew. I constantly watched for a way to escape. Finding no direct way, I decided to try to save money for my escape. I asked Hugh Old if I could work for myself. After some reflection, he agreed, provided that I would bear the expenses of my clothing and caulking tools, pay for room and board somewhere, and at the end of each week give him $3. Because my weekly expenses would include about $2.50 for room and board and about another 50 cents for clothing and tools, this meant that my weekly expenses would total about $6. Rain or shine, work or no work, at the end of each week I would have to give Hugh Old $3. This arrangement would relieve him of all need to look after me while guaranteeing him $3 each week. In contrast, I would have increased responsibilities and anxieties. Still, I preferred this new arrangement to my old situation. To bear a freeman's responsibilities was a step toward freeman, and I was determined to succeed. I dedicated myself to making money. I was ready to work day and night. By my industry, I was able to meet my expenses and put aside a little money every week. I continued in this way from May to August. Then, one Saturday evening, I went with some friends to a camp meeting about 10 miles from Baltimore. Earlier in the week, I had agreed to go with them. I had planned to give Hugh Old his weekly $3 before going. However, when the day arrived, I was delayed by my employer. Rather than disappoint my friends, I met them at the agreed time and went to the camp meeting without paying Hugh Old. I knew that he had no immediate need for the money. I stayed at the camp meeting one day longer than I had intended, but I called on Hugh Old as soon as I returned. I found him very angry. He said that he had a great mind to give me a severe whipping. He asked how I dared to leave the city without his permission. I responded that I had not known that I needed to ask him where I could go and when. This reply troubled him. After reflecting a few moments, he said that I no longer could work for myself. He said that the next thing he knew, I would be running away. He told me to bring my tools and clothing home. I did as he demanded, but instead of working, I spent the whole week doing nothing. I did this to get back at him. Saturday night, he asked me for my week's wages. I told him that I had none. I had done no work that week. We nearly came to blows. He raved, swearing his determination to get hold of me. I said nothing, but I was determined that if he laid a hand on me, it would be blow for blow. He did not strike me, but said that I should work continuously from now on. The next day, I thought the matter over and decided that on the 3rd of September I would make a second attempt to escape. I had 3 weeks to prepare for my journey. Early on Monday, before Hugh Old had time to arrange any job for me, I went out and got work at Mr. Butler's shipyard. At the end of the week, I brought Hugh Old nearly $9. He seemed very pleased. My reason for working steadily was to remove any suspicion from his mind that I was planning to run away. I believe that he thought I never had been more content than at the very time that I was planning to escape. The second week passed, and again I brought him my full wages. He was so pleased that he gave me 25 cents and advised me to make good use of it. I told him that I would. Outwardly, things went smoothly, but inwardly, I was troubled. I had a number of warm-hearted friends in Baltimore, friends whom I loved. The thought of being separated from them forever was extremely painful. I believed that thousands more slaves would escape if it were not for the strong cords of affection that bind them to their friends. Besides the pain of separation, I dreaded failure. The failure of my first escape attempt tormented me. I felt certain that if I failed again, I would be severely punished and placed where I never could hope to escape. But I remained firm. On September 3rd, 1838, I left my chains. I reached New York without any interruption. What direction I traveled and by what mode of transportation I must leave unsaid for the reasons that I have mentioned.